people even playing Wii Fit don't fully understand.
She's so goofy.
Yeah.
Like, why does her forward smash hit behind her? Like, it's a forward smash. Come on.
It's a forward and behind smash.
Yeah, right.
That's what it is. Totally makes sense.
Another big thing, the reason I got excited about Xyless is that what a lot of people don't realize is that the header that she does with the soccer ball, if you actually hit them with your head, it spikes. And when that happens, it's going to send you so fast to the blast zone that not even someone like Villager might not be able to recover. She's also able to do a lot of interesting things by air dodging away, like out of, like in the middle of the header to stop the soccer ball and has to have it drop down. It's almost like Z dropping, but of your own accord.
Well, plenty of mix-ups with the soccer ball, and Ally was so keen that Xyless would use it to clear the landing zone. That's exactly why we saw the cape becoming a factor there.
Now, one of the things that's interesting about Wii Fit Trainer is actually the sun salutation and the deep breathing. Like, those things together. And there's another. Oh, Ally's so good with those capes.
He didn't even need to do it there.
No.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Those two moves together really change up Wii Fit style. Someone, like a lot of different players, will sometimes use a lot of sun salutation and deep breathing. Some won't at all. And so with a Wii Fit, you never really know what to expect.
You really don't. You really don't. I mean, this outcome when I look at this match overall, though, is relatively expected. Ally, like we said, just a world-class player. One of the best to ever do it, regardless of which game he's playing.
Oh, and we're seeing a lot of really interesting play here from Xyless. Like we saw the soccer ball mixed up before that I wanted to point out earlier. And, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty big percent lead here, but Wii Fit has some surprisingly good edge guard capability and a lot of good kill power.
What are some of the KO options we can maybe expect from Xyless in this sort of a spot?
So, I mean, besides the obvious smashes, like I said, that soccer ball to headbutt is good. Even if it doesn't spike, it has a lot of knockback. And, like, her tilts come out very, very quickly. They have weird hitboxes, and they're very strong.
That just sounds like Wii Fit in a nutshell.
Yeah.
You can describe the entire character based on those tilts.
She's just goofy.
Just goofy. That deep breathe. It allows her to recover a little bit of HP, and it also makes it so the next move she does is stronger, right?
Yes, that is absolutely correct. Oh, Ally is wont to do, going for that up smash.
And canceling out of the deep breathe. Really smart. Ally in that position couldn't just hang around the ledge. He had to pick an aggressive offensive option.
And caught an up air for it and lost the stocks. Xyless, big percent deficit, but like I said, there's always that spike to worry about in the back pocket.
I mean, if there's a spike king at this tournament, it certainly is Ally, and those up smashes are the other ace he has in his back pocket.
Now, I mean, I'm not saying that Ally isn't the dunk master, but to say he's the best of the tournament, I don't know. We have some pretty good Mario mains. Like Dan, that man's a human highlight reel when he's feeling himself. So.
That's true, man. I guess I've just seen too many sets where Ally closes it out like with the dunk in particular.
And again, that's because, as I mentioned in the set earlier that we saw him, he just keeps his foot on the gas pedal. He keeps it pressed to the floor. He never lets up. And if dunk's the best option, that's what you're going to get. Are we seeing?
Hashtag, yeah, I was going to say hashtag Mario sucks, but
it had to have been a miss.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Are we really seeing Shulk though? Is that happening?
I mean, I could see the cloud before the Shulk. Yeah, you know, Ally, I believe he pulled out the wait.
Yo, he's really feeling it.
Is this actually happening?
Yeah, this is a thing.
Ally actually going Shulk here. That's unprecedented. That is absolutely unbelievable. Shulk, a character who has incredible range, great power, and overall is such a dynamic character, in particular with the Monado. The issue is he just has such lackluster frame data on all those moves.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is that his frame data is, if you put his moves with, like, shave like 3 frames of all his moves, Shulk's like instantly like low high tier.
But it's just the fact that everything takes so long.
And that's because he actually takes the sword off of his back every time. If that animation wasn't a thing, if he just had his sword in his hands all times like Marth, Shulk would be a lot more dangerous than he is.
Almost certainly. I mean, it's a big sword, though. I don't know if he could just run around with it the way that Marth does.
I mean, Ike wields a tree, like, and he
That's true. That's true. And it is worth noting that Ally does play Ike in other Smash games. So
Yeah.
he's no stranger to these characters with long range, great KO power. He certainly has the mind for it, and he might be rewarded with the stock for it as well. Switching things up to Smash, he wants that extra KO power here.
Oh, wow. Good read by Xyless. Air dodging and then expecting him to try for a grab, and gets the up tilt. And that'll do it. And that is actually a really underrated, strong option from Shulk, is that up B, like,
Yeah.
especially in Smash.
The usage of the air slash in general was so smart because he used it initially just to get to the top platform, and Xyless certainly wasn't expecting the second one whenever he's coming down.
Another interesting thing, a tech that I just recently saw a different Shulk player come out with on Twitter is that you can actually snap with Shulk pretty well if you space it right. And that was always Shulk's biggest weakness in his recovery, is that, you know, his head would pop up above the ledge, and then you'd be dog meat, and all of a sudden someone's like, oh hey, no, if you space it right, you snap perfectly. And so now Shulk's even a little bit more dangerous.
The tech is always coming out, but what we're seeing still is the fact that Shulk, I mean, at the end of the day, well, he's mid-tier at best. Mid-tier at best. Ally still putting in some work with the character, now going for Buster. He wants the extra damage output because the damage is so low here.
Now, one thing I would be careful of, though, is in Buster, that you also take more damage.
This is absolutely true.
there's
And
the spike!
Taking the spike off of the
like I told
soccer
you.
ball.
If you get hit by the header, the head itself, it spikes you, and it's so much knockback.
Ally actually getting a taste of his own medicine.
Wow.
That's ridiculous.
Xyless is just like, yo, you really gonna use Shulk against me right now?
He's like, man, it's round robin pools. I can do what I want.
But
Are you sure?
oh,
Every game matters.
That spike was so hype. Yeah, now we're going back to Mario.
Yeah, no surprise here.
No, he's not playing no more.
Definitely not. Now, what's the history between Xyless and Ally? Because they seem like they're just having a good time.
Now, I mean, as far as them playing, there's not like all that much like, but Ally is a frequent visitor to Chicago tournaments and to the Midwest in general. He lives in Michigan when he's not in Canada, so these guys have hung out a lot. They're good friends.
That makes a lot of sense why we're seeing such a goofy match, to say the least. Game 3, and Ally with the counter pick now towards FD. This is the second Mario main that we've seen choose FD throughout this block that we've been commenting.
Yeah, and I think one of the big reasons that like, the common instinct is to think, oh, we want platforms to extend your combos. But the other thing that is interesting with Mario is that because he has so many mix-ups with his grabs, like a lot of people, when Mario goes for the down throw, will DI downward to make sure that you can sort of try and tech. But then you can up throw and get stuff off of that, and with no platforms to interrupt that stuff, you can actually get your mix-up game rolling. And if anybody's good at mix-ups, it's going to be Ally.
But speaking of mix-ups, I'm looking at the defensive mix-ups we're seeing from Xyless on recovery. He's been using the soccer ball in a way to stall his momentum, so Ally has not been getting those capes that we saw him get in the initial game.
Right, and I think Xyless realized that, you know, that there's other Mario mains in his scene. There's Dan, there's JT Dunks, there's other stuff like that, and he realized that Ally's not going to miss capes like they might.
No, they won't.
So you have to be really good with your defensive mix-ups. But as good as his defensive mix-ups has been, he's only done 44%, so maybe he needs to work on those offensive mix-ups
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he really is down by so much here. Ally, like you said, the pedal is definitely on the metal right now. The pressure is unrelentless. Forward air.
Oh, wow, and he
into
reads the air dodge.
Smash. That was insane.
That was so good, and that's classic Ally right there. That is like, hey, I'm going to throw out this ridiculous move, which happened to be a fair there, and then be like, okay, you have two options. Either you stay there and you get hit by any of the number of options I have, or you air dodge and you eat a forward smash. That was an amazing choice there by Ally. Oh, yeah. He's always so hyped to watch.